Guys, for 7 years I was a vampire's blood slave. I burned our blood bond to ash and she lost her mind completely. Let me start from the beginning. My name's Blake, and Alice the vampire saved my life when I was 17, beaten half to death in an alley. Thugs closing in. She drained them dry, picked me up, and said keep your blood for me. I thought it was a gift. I thought she cared. So I stayed, her human blood servant, bound by a blood pact. Pact that was supposed to be 5 years. But I loved her so I stayed 7. And that love, it turned out to be the stupidest mistake of my life. You think that's sad? Wait till you hear what she did when my blood curse. The blood curse, every bonded servant gets it. Only the vampire's bite can break it. If not, you cut 7 deep gashes in your skin, bleed out just enough, and pray you don't die. When mine hit, I was curled up on my bed, screaming in pain, waiting for Alice. She came home at midnight, but she wasn't alone. She was carrying a human boy, Jackson, passed out in her arms. She didn't even glance at me, yelled for the maid to fix Jackson up, and when the maid begged her to help me, Alice said, "You'll just tough it out. A man doesn't die from this." My heart shattered. I grabbed a knife, cut 7 gashes in my arms, and bled on that cold floor until the curse broke. And in that haze, I made a promise I'd break this pact in 3 days. The next day, I'm bandaged up, dizzy from blood loss, and Alice just snaps her fingers and says, "Make me food." I bring her animal, blood her usual, and she slams the bowl at my feet, blood splattering my shirt. Turns out Jackson's human, and she's spoiling him like he's royalty. She let him sunbathe, something she'd never let me do. Said vampires and their servants don't see the sun. She held his hand, laughed with him, called me nothing but her blood slave to his face. And when she saw my arm wounds, she just said don't get them wet, like it was a chore to care. She even mumbled, "I'll save you next time," but I knew there was no next time. I was done. 3 days later, I went to the train station between the vampire and human world, my other job, and asked a friend how to break the pact. When I got back to the castle, I walked in on Alice sinking her fangs into Jackson's neck. The first embrace, she was turning him into a vampire, and when she saw me, she threw a glass vase at my shoulder, screamed, "Get out," and I grabbed the blood bond chain she'd tossed on the floor and left. The next night, she burst into my room, grabbed my bruised shoulder, and blamed me for turning Jackson, said I gave Jackson my blood vial, that my scent made her lose control. I told her the truth, she did this to herself. She slapped me, called me a liar, a bastard, said she never should have saved me. Then Jackson screamed for blood, and Alice, she dragged my half-dead body to him, held my neck to his fangs, and let him drain me dry. That's when I knew this wasn't love. This was just ownership. I blacked out. But when I woke up, Alice was gone off looking for help, like she cared now. The clock struck midnight. I stumbled to the fireplace, pulled the blood bond chain out of my pocket. It had my blood on it, the key to breaking the pact, and threw it into the fire. I watched it melt to ash, the pact snapping like a broken rope. I was free. I stumbled out of the castle, and the next thing I knew, I was in a cold, gentle embrace. Erdina, a vampire queen, the highest rank. She doesn't fear the sun. She doesn't treat humans like toys. She'd saved me once before, trapped in a train tunnel, and I'd promised to bond with her if I ever broke free from Alice. And now, she took me in. Her castle has sunlight, soft beds, no rules. She let me heal, let me breathe, let me be human, not just a blood bag. For the first time in 7 years, I wasn't in pain. But Alice, she wasn't done with me. When I was healed, Erdina and I went back to the train station to go to the human world. And there she was, Alice, a mess, bloodshot eyes, hair unbrushed, begging me to come back. I told her I had a new bond, a new master. She screamed for the chain back. I said I burned it. She tried to grab me. Erdina pushed her away, and we teleported onto the train. But Alice didn't stop. She waited for me at the station when we came back, said she hadn't drunk a drop of blood since I left, only wanted mine. And when I said no, she threatened to kill the maid Clara, the only one who ever cared for me in that castle. I had to go back with her. I had no choice. But when we got there, Jackson attacked me, bit my arm, and Alice just said he's unstable. It's an accident. I snapped. I pulled a silver needle on her, and that's when Jackson finally confessed. He stole the blood vial. He wanted Alice to turn him, so they could be together forever. Alice stared at me, shocked, like she finally realized she'd been wrong this whole time. But it was too late. I walked out, and Erdina was waiting for me. She'd saved Clara. No more threats. That night, I found out the truth about Erdina. Vampire queens only drink fresh human blood, and she'd been starving for weeks. waiting for me to choose her, not just bond with her out of gratitude. I pulled down my collar, showed her my neck, and asked her to bond with me. I kissed her, and she pulled me close. Then Alice burst in, screaming, crying, attacking Erdina, begging me not to do it. You love me, Blake. You can't bond with her just because you hate me. But I didn't hate her. I just didn't love her anymore. Erdina silenced her, held me tight, and sank her fangs into my neck. The bond, and Alice watched her eyes red, her body shaking, as I took the new bond chain and put it on Erdina's neck, something I tried to do for Alice 100 times, and she'd always push me away. Alice screamed, tried to fight, and Erdina hit her so hard she crumpled to the floor, threw her out of the castle, and I whispered to Erdina, I don't love her anymore. She stopped, looked at me, and said, then can you love me? I went back to working at the train station for you now. Day shifts, night shifts. Erdina drops me off and picks me up every time. And Alice? She's always there, in the shadows, watching me, never speaking. Until one day, Jackson showed up. He'd killed a human for blood, lost his mind, and when he saw me, he screamed that it was my fault he was like this. He grabbed me, threw me off the platform, onto the train tracks. The train was coming, the alarm blaring, and I heard Alice scream my name. Then everything went black. But I didn't die. Erdina teleported me to safety, right as the train passed. And when I looked back, Alice was on the platform, screaming, crying, trying to jump onto the tracks like she thought I was dead. The guards held her down, and she just wailed my name, over and over. Jackson stood there, frozen. Then he started laughing hysterical, crazy. Alice lost everything. Jackson lost his mind. And me. I found someone who loves me for me, not just my blood. 7 years of devotion, 7 years of being a blood slave, 7 years of loving someone who only saw me as a meal. I burned the bond, I ran, and I found happiness. And Alice? She's stuck in the dark, just like the castle she kept me in. So tell me in the comments, did I do the right thing? Would you have burned the bond too, or stayed and tried to fix it? And if you love this vampire story, hit that like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.